Good morning. Welcome back to Mike's Diabetes World. This is calibrating, so we'll just leave that just to show you. Oh, there we go. It says 7.7. I'm about 8.3 right now. Again, for our Americans, times that by 18. And you'll get what the blood sugar is in an easier to understand format. Fully calibrated now. Pretty easy. I had a few little corrections. Nothing like the days where it was working constantly. Fairly steady. I had a bleep around midnight, but it came down and we're all happy now. I think I did this already, but give you another view. And today I want to discuss maybe something on the lighter side of T1D, and that is celebrating the positives. There's a few more than you think. So sit back and enjoy, and we're going to get raring to go. This channel is provided for informational purposes only. Contact your physician for any diagnostic or treatment plan. Hi, we're back. Now, there's a few little perks, and one of the sites that I like that I refer to is Beyond the Diabetes. And so I'm just going to add my 2 cents worth, okay? The first one is food and drug smuggling. Years ago, I used to have problems with low blood sugars. I know, me, a problem with low blood sugars? Oh. Anyway, I was in the hospital on the North Shore of Vancouver, if any of you know it, and my dad got a pass and took me to the BC Lions football game. Well, the hospital insisted we take a crash bag. We had a little bit of problems at security, but once they knew I was a diabetic, easy peasy. And this really goes through like movie theaters, sporting events, concert venues, They have classrooms on here, but that was sort of a given now. Even retail stores. Now, again, I honestly have to say, do not use this. Oh yeah, I just want to sit there eating sticky nachos, and then you go and touch everything. No, 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 no. If you're gonna eat while waiting on someone or you're not feeling well, that's fine, but you're not gonna eat cheesy nachos while taking a look at other items at a retail store. I don't care if it's a food store or a clothing store. It's have a little bit of common sense with it. Now, there are some advantages. We take a look at in school. I could always leave before lunch, only at lunchtime. I couldn't leave school early, but I could go, and at that time we had to do urine tests. But I could do my testing, and then I could go get my lunch. I was always first down to the cafeteria on days I bought my lunch. A lot of days I took it with me. Sorry, it's not this, it's this I want. And being a T1D, I believe that you do work on getting your technology badge. Scouting reference. But it's true with the sensors and the sensors and the pumps and the lights. You get kind of accustomed to technology. I don't know, you're not going to understand every little bit of it, but it does help. Now, in school, especially the elementary schools, but as you move up into high schools and that, special accommodations. If you're off or you take an exam and you're not quite in the right mindset, and those of you who have T1D know what I'm talking about. There are days, especially if you have high blood sugar, where I just don't feel like it. And I know personally I used to race to get through tests. But a lot of times you can take another test on another day. Doesn't mean you get out of taking the test. You still are responsible to show what you know. But if you're sick, and sick can be high blood sugars, low blood sugars. There are some scholarships I'm just reading off here for U.S. residents. There's beyond scholarships beyond type 1 diabetes. So go take a look at beyond type 1 diabetes and see what their scholarships are. For Canadians, there's the Diabetes Hope Scholarship, which gives scholarships to diabetics, T1Ds, who are living with diabetes. I wish I had that when I was going to school. Granted, 83 was about 40 years ago, I guess. Yeah, that's about right. But we didn't have all these neat gadgets. Now, they have a section here on travel perk. The one big one I always remembered was taking luggage onto the plane. I was allowed a second carry-on, so we had two big carry-ons. When I went to get my service dog back east, I was going to be gone for 3 weeks. So that means I at least had 5 weeks of supplies to take. I was later coming back, but just a funny joke I remember from there. Now, this comes in handy if you're traveling and you don't want to go through the scanners. I don't like putting this through the scanners with the insulin. So they swab it. And you're probably going to get a swab down of that. Sometimes now they're even doing it with phones to make sure there is no gunpowder residue on it. But yourself can have a pat down. Now, again, last time I traveled on the air was back to Toronto. And I went through. My whole chair was pat down. I was pat down. I just went through the normal, what do you call it? They have them in some U.S. schools to stop guns being into school. But the actual x-ray machines, they didn't put me through. Actually, our equivalent to airport security did pretty good in getting me through and making sure that I was able to go. I was able to get a Coke or at the stack when I had a low coming back for getting my service animal. I was out of it. I was tired, and I think just the whole thing about getting to the airport, I had a low. Now, I don't know if I had a low because we were rushing and using the energy, though traditionally I kind of peak, but I had a low, and they gave me snacks and they gave me Coke, which got a few other people in economy a little bit more upset with me. Now, this is probably from the States. They say national parks give some perks to people with disabilities. In Canada, I haven't seen that. Doesn't mean it doesn't exist. But there's so much more. Now, we've done a video about hiding behind your diabetes. This is one of the reasons why hiding behind your diabetes is not sort of the best thing. You could miss out on a whole bunch of these. Now, there's also special accommodations at work. You're allowing extra days off without being hit towards your sick days off. Now, that doesn't mean they're extra vacation days. No. What it means is that you are able, if need be, a little bit more leniency. You can get up and you can use the washroom. I know there's been companies out there who kind of monitor when you leave to use the washroom, which to me seems a little archaic. If you're pulling in the work, then why should you be doing that? But who knows? Once you identify as a type 1 diabetic, that kind of goes out the window. I can remember there were days I was just urinating all day because I wasn't really taking care of myself, but still. Now, there's one here that I don't think I've ever experienced, and that was utility discounts. It could be in the States, and it could be when you're identifying as someone with a disability, you get a break on utilities. With type 1 diabetes, my thinking here is it's not really that much because we really don't use that much extra electricity. For me, maybe here because of lights and that, I may use a bit more. But for the average diabetic, charging our phones is not much. Charging our pumps, we don't charge them. We just use batteries in it. So I don't know in Canada if we do this. Doesn't mean it wouldn't be nice, but it's just something we don't do. Okay, some of the other things they hear. Here's something that I didn't get at a concert, but here they have things. Oops, sorry. Hopefully they have front of the line venue, and in it they're talking about move to the front of the line and separate medical screening. I didn't see that at movies or the venues, concert venues, whatever. I did see this at the airport. I talked when I went back for my wheelchair. They opened up a special line and they closed it off, and I was screened. The screening did take a couple of minutes more. It wasn't a huge amount, but we were in and we were out. So, screening of times, I remember All I really remember, that was going to get my service animal. Coming back, I think we were all with the dogs pretty well guided through quickly. All I remember about traveling back was I had a suitcase and I had a bottle of Pepto-Bismol in it. And they x-rayed it and thought it was a Disney theme parks. You can apply for a disability badge. Now, you're not badge or system that you can have certain times to come back for rides. I know when my nephew went to Disney, this is years ago, they were put to the head of the line. And now, with computers and everything, if a diabetic applies and gets it, just being a diabetic does not open the doors. But if I was diabetic going to Disney now, I would have a problem being able to stand in lines for all that time. I would probably have had a low, and I wouldn't have been able to get a full enjoyment of the park. I think I could possibly get the disability. And it's like you and your party can go together. You go up to where the cast member is at the beginning of each ride, and they give you a time to come back. And it's kind of like also a fast pass. But there's certain things like that. When reading this, Dollywood also does something, and it's worthwhile. So often we hear, type 1 diabetes. It's such a negative. I wish I didn't have it. Well, sometimes there are perks. I would really suggest that you go and you take a look at Beyond Diabetes. Things I've said in my site channel over the years, it's always good to get second opinions. It was great I'd be able to utilize this, but go and take a look at their site. And let's just take a look here. It's beyondtype1.org. They have excellent other diabetes information. But if you're eligible for any of these extra benefits, utilize them. Because I end up having a low at that BC Lion football game and trying to race around and buy something really wouldn't have worked for me. I think medical reasons for having your own little emergency pack of food is a little bit more accepted now. So utilize them if you're able to. And with that, I hope you have a super day, and we'll talk again soon. And remember, go take a look at beyonddiabetes.org. Have a great day. Bye now. My email is mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com. mikesdiabetesworld@gmail.com.